Welcome back to Cord Cutting today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, Spectrum and Cox Media are merging. This is a huge moment in the world of cable television. And let's be honest, it's being caused by cable TV. Cable TV is forcing major changes in the world of television. We'll tell you why this is so important and the impact it has on cord cutting in a minute. A few quick notes here. If you want to learn more about this story, I'll put a link to it in the show notes and in the first pinned comment so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button or hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both really does help us. All right, into a major deal. Now, pending regulatory approval and all those other fun things that they got to do, but Cox and Charter Communications, which is better now known as Spectrum Cable Television and Internet, have announced a merger deal valued where Cox is valued at $34.5 billion. $34.5 billion. That's a huge amount of money with this. With it, it really sounds like it's a merger, but Spectrum is basically taking over Cox, is the way this is going to really play out when all is done and said. Cox, under this deal, will hold just 23% interest in the newly formed merged company, where Charter Communications will own the majority by far of it. It's a pretty interesting way to do it. It's becoming increasingly common for a variety of tax and legal reasons, but these merger deals kind of allow the two companies to combine without having to throw a ton of cash on the table up front to do it. I don't think Spectrum has $34 billion laying around. For television subscribers and more, okay, let's just talk about Spectrum and Cox subscribers. Nothing's changing for the foreseeable future. It's going to take a very long time for this to work its way through regulatory approvals. And once it does, even after that, it will take a little bit of time for things to change. Billing will probably be the first big change, and then from there, customer service and the rest will slowly change. Do I think this will be approved? Yes, I do think this will be approved. Cox and Spectrum are actually not in competition. They're in separate markets for the most part. With that also, this has a lot of competition already. We just talk all the time about YouTube TV, Fubo, Hulu Plus Live, Sling TV, Friendly, Philo, and more. You add in things like satellite from DirecTV and Dish, and you see the growing options of competitors. Plus, there's just a ton of others of options out there. I think the reality of this situation is cable TV is desperate right now. Comcast, Spectrum, and others are in real trouble of not being able to survive. People laughed at me last month when I talked about the need someday in the future, not now, but it's going to come sooner than you think, where Comcast may seriously spin off its cable television and cable internet business if it can't find a way to turn around the growing trend. Not only are they losing television customers, but they're also losing internet customers en masse. That's huge because still Comcast TV and internet services is the majority of its business. Bigger than NBC Universal, bigger than its theme parks and the like combined, according to what I've been told. But they're losing a ton of TV and a ton of internet customers in a way that's very scary for the future of the company. So far, they have not successfully found any way to turn that around and slow it down. We'll have to keep a very close eye on it. Increasingly, Americans are not only wanting to ditch cable television, but they also want to ditch cable internet. This is the cord cutting 2.0, the idea that I'm so sick and tired of these cable television companies. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want their wireless service. I don't want their TV. I don't want their phone. And hundreds of thousands of people are moving to things like fiber, 5G home internet, and satellite internet in a way that every quarter is severely impacting cable companies. Cox, Spectrum, Comcast, and more are all being impacted by it. This is a big reason why Cox and Spectrum are merging to offset this, right? Think of the iHeart media model. When radio was shrinking, podcasting was becoming bigger, streaming was becoming bigger, music and the like. iHeartMedia, which used to be called, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Clear Channel Communications before they rebranded it, went on a buying spree and bought up more and more of the pie. Because if the pie is smaller but you own a bigger chunk of it, you're going to be okay, right? That was their idea behind it. And now it seems like Spectrum is doing the same thing. They have quietly been picking up small rural cable TV companies, even some municipality providers have been being picked up. This is by far their biggest purchase. Spectrum has been on a buying spree. If you really look at some of their TV and internet numbers, they look better than they really are because they're offsetting their losses by expanding their market into new areas. That can only last so long. There's only so much of the country you can buy up with this. But I also think there's an important note with this merger between Spectrum and Cox. The long-rumored merger of Comcast and Spectrum, where you would see them merge their TV and internet companies into one big, giant one, just became a lot less likely in my mind for two reasons. I think it's a lot less likely that that would happen by being approved. There is, while competition, having that size really does create a behemoth in controlling negotiations with content providers. It does create a big problem there. Now that Spectrum is merging with Cox, if they would also merge with Comcast, that would probably be something that would trigger a fight with the Department of Justice and others. Doesn't mean it still can't happen, especially as the pie continues to shrink. If cord cutting 2.0 continues to be so successful, it will not surprise me at all to see in the future, I don't know when, are we talking 5 years from now, 10 years from now, more or less? I don't know. But if a rapid growth of cord cutting 2.0 happens and both companies continue to lose internet and television customers, it could come to a point where they're forced to do a deal together. A few notes here. You probably, when this deal going to happen, you're going to see a jump in the subscriber numbers for Spectrum. And a lot of people are going to make a big deal about cord cutting being over. It's not. They're just consolidating the cable TV companies. I think this is a bigger sign that cord cutting's having an even bigger impact than ever before. Let's be honest, if cord cutting wasn't such a big problem, these two companies wouldn't be merging. It's just the reality of the situation. So look for a lot of PR about how cord cutting is dead. Don't buy it. The numbers are being fudged by these mergers. Second with this, it'd be interesting to see what type of conditions. Remember when Spectrum bought Time Warner and they merged and became Spectrum, and Charter and Time Warner merged and Spectrum was born? That created some requirements. They couldn't put data caps on their internet, for example, was one of the conditions the Department of Justice put on it to approve the merger. I suspect there will be some similar requirements. We'll see what they are. It'll be very interesting to see under this current administration what kind of conditions are put on a deal like this. What would you like to see? I think data caps are a big part of it, but already those are kind of going away and Spectrum doesn't have them. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear from you. Well, that's it for today. Don't forget, a link to the story is down below so you can read all the details, but this really is a big moment. This is a big sign of how much pain cord cutting has inflicted on cable TV companies. But it's also a sign about the shrinking market that they have, and they're trying to grow the pie, or their share of the pie as it shrinks, I should say. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.